Okay, guys, we're going to start the afternoon session. I need everybody to lock in, okay? Before we start the training, we're going to go over a lot of technical stuff. It's very, very important that everybody understand, you know, the methodology that we have here at the Academy that was put together by Dr. Brian Gordon and myself long ago has pretty much been cutting edge. We've been at the forefront and we've raised the bar for pretty much teaching tennis around the world, okay? It's imitated, but it's really never duplicated, all right? So everything that we tell you, okay, myself, Dr. Gordon, Jason, all the coaches, is backed up by science, okay? Because there's a lot of things out there, and you hear me say this a lot, there's not a wrong way or a right way, there's a better way. There's a lot of things out there of maybe how to do the forehand, how to do the backhand, how to do the serve. I get it. If you do millions and millions and millions of anything, it's going to get better. But the real question is this: is it optimal? Is it the best way to hit the ball? Is it the best way? And I've had many players, okay, amazing serve, amazing backhand, the forehand shaky, even if they won the Orange Bowl at 18. It costs them millions of dollars on the Pro Tour just because there's a technical flaw. And a lot of you guys, 6, 7, 8, or 17, 18, 19, have a chance to rewire the motor system, to reprogram the muscles, okay, and try to do the strokes the way that we're trying to show you. Now, not everybody's going to look the same, or you're going to hit the ball the same, and a lot of people have taken the terminology or the research from Dr. Gordon and I and kind of come up with their own song and dance, which is great because everybody can learn from everybody. But when it's all said and done, okay, you know, Brian has his PhD in stroke mechanics and did his thesis on this stuff. So he knows this better than anybody. And I've been around many sports science guys around the world, and the collaboration between myself and Brian is unprecedented. Probably the best 1-2 punch in the world regarding stroke mechanics. His background and research, and then my way of explaining it and expedite the learning curve is like no other. So everything we tell you, okay, you might see stuff on the internet, you see stuff on YouTube, everybody can learn from everybody, but the leader in the clubhouse, by far, is how we're explaining how to hit the ball. Now, some things are vanilla. What I mean by that, they're just like common threads that apply to everybody. They apply to everybody. But when I get to these subtle things on your forehand, backhand, and serve, it's very important. When you go home tonight, you're going to put it in your diary, you're going to take notes and look at it. Because it's my experience. When you look at it, you read it, you feel it, you smell it, you do it. Okay? Don't just expect myself or Jason or whoever to tell you this on a regular basis. Okay, everybody spread out. Let's get into the forehand first. This isn't about your grip. Everybody get in a ready position. 5 seconds, show me ready position. All right, some of you are in the neighborhood, some of you aren't. When you're in ready position, your feet should be apart, be comfortable, but I want your elbows away. Some of you guys are in here like you're playing the guitar. I know some of you guys take music, but we're not playing the guitar, we're playing tennis. So get your elbows away. But when your elbows are away, you want your elbows away, relax. I see a lot of people out there, you know, saying the ready position or the athletic position. Okay, but you don't want to manufacture. You want your elbows away, but you want to relax. Now, the next thing, everybody go into the forehand and do the unit turn. Remember, the shoulders always take the racket back. So, I want you to go back. Now, I need the coaches to help out. Get the elbow up and away. Look, we don't want that elbow in. Watch. A picture's worth 1,000 words. Look where my elbow is. Bang! Now, the non-dominant hand. Go back a little bit. The non-dominant hand is on the racket. It's her birthday today. Her birthday, the birthday girl. All right. Now, coaches, I need you to help out. Too close. Elbow away. I want space between the elbow and the wrist. So, that's the second thing. The next thing. Now, once we come out of this, look, once the elbow is up, everybody watch. This is what we call going to the outside. You've heard us say this many times. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's elbow up, elbow extension. We'll get into shaping in a minute. It's elbow up, elbow extension. Now, some people, and there's stuff there on the internet, and they're wrong. I'm just telling you they're wrong. They're going like this, the racket goes that way. Is that a way to hit the forehand? Yes. It's a short stroke, but that's not what we're talking about. The ATP forehand, after the unit turn, the racket goes 5 o'clock, 5:15, 5:30, and 5:45. So everybody, show me where you're going to go the outside, okay, and show me like you're going to tap a dog. So I want the arm, don't swing yet. I want you to go in this next progression. The racket's to the outside, the arm is straight. Now, this could be part of a shape. This can be part of a shape, okay, or you can just set it. This is called the hitting side of the body. This is called the outside. So it's very, very awkward for some of you guys to do this because look, this is a hinge. This is a hinge. This is a hinge on the human body. When you go like this, it's natural to hinge the arm. That's the way we're put together. It's not natural to go that way, okay? But a lot of the top players, because the game has gotten so much faster, it's like advanced steroid, it's on everything so fast. So preparation, great mechanics is a premium. So we want to go to the outside. Now, when we do that, even though we're talking about muscle mechanics, we're talking about the mechanics of the arm, always remember, the power starts from where?
Your leg.
The ground. Everything starts from the ground up. Every sport, football, baseball, basketball, any type of throwing or hitting action, everything comes from the ground up. So the knee bends, that means you're loading the system. The system is the body. You bend the knee, the leg comes up, the hip turns, and the shoulder. So that starts the engine. So even we're not talking about that today, the kinetic chain. That's a different time. We're talking about muscle mechanics, the mechanics of the ATP forehand. So when you go to the outside, here's the key. The leg comes up, the hip turns, the shoulder turns, and you pull the racket. A lot of you guys go like this. You do everything right to here, then you do what we call pre-roll, okay? And I see this a lot on the internet of people trying to talk a little bit about their ATP forehand, but unfortunately, they're wrong, okay? Everything we do here on stroke mechanics is backed up by science, okay? It's just the way it is. It's factual, okay? Like I said, the top sports science guy in the world that's right over on that court, okay? Like I said, he has his PhD in biomechanics and did his thesis on this, and he's not only the leader in the clubhouse, he built the clubhouse, okay? In my opinion, that's how good Brian is. So here's what happens. This is all physics. Any older people here take physics yet? Don't worry, I didn't either. Okay, so we got a lot in common. All right, so when the racket head is above and you pull on one end, look what happens to the other. It flips the racket. Careful, careful, don't hit anybody. Watch. When you pull on this end, the other end goes down, it goes back and hits the slot. That's what we call the flip. That's what we call the flip. So the racket flips down and back. That's why you see it on TV. These guys look like they're using their arm, their wrist, and there's even people on the internet, okay, that I've seen, okay, even though I don't watch a lot of that stuff, even world-class coaches that coach high-level players that have even won Grand Slams are telling people to use your wrist. The only time you use your wrist is in an emergency situation. There's no wrist involved in this. Once you pull the racket and it flips, okay, the wrist makes a passive movement across the ball. So hopefully a lot of those coaches, okay, even though they're coaching high-level players, they can see this video and that can help them too. Because unless you understand biomechanics, okay, it's really hard to teach this stroke. Now, once the racket's pulled and it flips, your arm extends, and then what do we say we want you to think of? Turn the doorknob. Something I coined long ago, 20 years ago. And the end of the stroke is like this. A lot of people out there are saying, do the wiper or do all this stuff. Yes, but after an extension. Once there's an extension, it's not this, all right? It happens so quickly, even the Dow. People look at his follow through, but he's already hit the ball. This is like a flare. And by the way, that's called a reverse, but that's another lesson. So at the end of the day, ready position. ATP forehand, everybody imitate. You hit turn, right foot back, turn the shoulders. The shoulders go farther than the hips. That's what we call a separation angle. you put a stretch on the upper body. So the shoulders go farther than the hips. Your shoulders should be almost under your chin. Put your left shoulder under the chin. So now from here, the elbow's up, elbow extension. Okay, you're gonna drive the legs and hips. Okay, you pull the racket and it flips. And now the shoulder should come back to the other chin. So think about it. The left shoulder started it, the right shoulder. Now, the follow through, okay? The follow through. I saw another guy on the internet. The guy's won a lot of Grand Slams. All he talked about is the follow through, all right? I'm gonna tell you right now, the follow through has nothing to do with anything. It has nothing to do with anything except to prevent injury. That's all the follow through is. I watched Federer, he had 17 different follow throughs in one match, all right? We've studied this stuff. So the follow through can make you feel like the ball's going, because the ball's already left your racket. Once the ball hits the racket, it's gone. It's gone. So you'll see that, you'll see there, you'll see in the ribs, you'll see in the pocket, you'll see some guys go below the knee, you'll see guys do that, you'll see guys do that, you'll see all kinds of follow through. One of the greatest players of all time, where's he follow through? Okay, almost every time he does that. Why don't people do that? So you want to make sure you hit the ball in front, and you got to get in position. We get all that, but from a technical point of view, I need everybody to keep working on the stroke, because once you get this, okay, and there's a couple players here that have this stroke already, and I'm going to tell you, 5-6 years from now, when on the pro tour, everybody will be talking about that forehand, but it was taught and took a long time at age 10. Okay, the backhand, ready position. Make sure you have the right grip. Now, the backhand comes in many shapes and sizes. If anybody has a one-hander, this is all about the two-hander. You hear a lot of people say, when you hit the two-handed backhand, it's like a left-handed forehand. That's true, but that's at the end. Okay, ready position. I need everybody to turn. Now, when you take the racket back, here's what we want. The hand should go along the pelvis. That's your waist. Your right arm is straight. Your left elbow is bent. Your racket head is above the wrist. And the clock analogy, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. I want it at 6:30. You want it at 6:30. Everybody's set up, all right? So this is called the outside. This should be called the inside. Now, when the racket's to the outside, everybody pay attention. Once again, everybody pay attention. The power starts from where?
The ground.
The ground. So even though we're talking the mechanics of the arm, the power is going to start from here. This is where the power starts from. We would prefer, if you can, and this is tricky, and you know, regarding the backhand, okay, I've been fortunate not only to build from scratch some of the best backhands in the history of the game. Capriati, Venus, Serena, okay, Moschina, Mary Pierce, Kennan, okay, I could go on and on. People you hadn't even heard of. Backhands were amazing. Amazing. Sure, it requires footwork, timing, some athleticism, and they don't do the stroke like this. And they'll go down, even Venus, the great Venus, she puts the racket straight down, all right? So, what we're trying to say is this. If the racket head is above the wrist, everybody set the table, set up. Let's go, little birthday girl. The racket head, right arm straight, left elbow bent, racket head above to the outside. And you want to stretch it back. I want the racket going back to the Everglades, okay? But it's this way. It has to be on the outside. Good job, Steve. To the outside. Very important. Now, this is called, to do the ATP backhand, it's called the pull-push method. You pull with the right, and you're going to push with the left. When that happens, when you pull with the right arm first, the racket's going to do what? It's going to flip. It's going to go this way. Look, it goes down, back, you extend, and then wrap. And that's what you see with Djokovic and a handful of guys out there. They do the pull-push method. But you got to get it all the way back. If you're only halfway back, you're not going to do this. Get it all the way back. Okay. Pull, push, push. Pull, push. You pull with the right, then you push with the left. That's the lefty forehand that everybody talks about on the internet. But the way we're showing you to do it, and everybody agrees, there's a couple guys, but Djokovic is the leader in the clubhouse. And I've done countless articles and broken this thing down step by step better than anybody in the world. So I know exactly what's going on here, along with Brian. So you want to pull with this arm. If you go back first, that's a different stroke. That still works. That's what we call a little bit of a bubble loop, which is okay. You see that a lot on the WTA tour. A lot of girls will set the racket, then the ball bounces, and then they make a loop. No problem. But my question is this: why the extra motion? Why the extra motion? Why not just set it? Bang! Why not just set it? Bang! Why not just set it? Bang! Because you feel stronger doing that, because when you're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, what happens is you're not that strong, so you feel I need more power. So then, as you get 14, 15, everybody's saying the same thing. Shorten your stroke, prepare early, keep the racket on this side. You hear all these corrections. Everybody understand. All right, get in your serving position. Everybody get in like you're gonna serve. Okay, how you stand is really a personal interpretation. However you want to stand, we just don't want you facing the net. Okay, you should have, you know, the left foot forward, the right foot back. Your feet should be like shoulder width apart. I want everybody to have a continental grip. Okay, I know a lot of little kids are on probation, but start like this. Everybody, have everybody like this. Have the racket front. Now, when you take the racket back, everybody listen. Make sure you have a continental grip. Some of the kids, listen, if you don't have a continental grip or an Eastern backhand grip, you're toast. You know what toast means? What? Yeah, you eat toast. That means you're done. If you're toast. That's what it means in my vocabulary. So, you guys, you got to have a continental grip. You're setting the table for what I'm going to explain now. Watch this. So when you take the racket back, okay, you take the racket back. You've heard us say this many times. The palm has to be down. A lot of you little ones go like this. You take the racket back and you open the hand. Or you take the racket back too far. And then this is called, as you've heard, external rotation. You don't need to know that, but the coach or wherever you hear it on there, don't do the frying pan, the waiter, the pizza, whatever, okay? The palm is down. Look, the palm is down. Now, the entry of the racket, the angle of the edge of the racket should always be coming in like a halo. Okay, the edge of the racket comes in this way. It always comes in. But if you do this, all these things are going to be compromised. The edge always has to come in. So watch this. So when I do this, I'm going to get into your leg drive in a minute. The edge comes in, the edge comes out. Now look how this is set up. This is called internal rotation. The elbow, everything comes back this way. It looks like I'm going to slice it. This is what we call pronation. It goes that way, and then the follow through. But the big thing we want to talk to you about today on the serve is the timing of the legs, okay? So I've watched a lot of stuff on the internet, okay? People that get 100,000 views, and they're showing people how to serve. Unfortunately, they're showing them how to serve incorrectly. The leader in the clubhouse, and no one understands this, because the human eye cannot see this. The human eye cannot see this. Unless you've looked at many high-speed videos of 400 frames a second, or MRIs, or you've broken this down, it's hard to see. When you get into this position, shoulder, shoulder, elbow, which we call the power position, or the loading phase, or the cocking phase, or the trophy position, and you guys win a trophy? You buy a trophy, what? Okay, so you get in this position. Now, here's the #1 problem around the world. Everybody listen up. When people get in this position, the racket gets in too early, anywhere from 10 to 100%. When you get into this position, okay, the legs drive the racket into the back. Look, the leg drive, from a science point of view, leg drive initiates racket speed. What that means is, when we're in this position, the legs drive the racket. People go like this. People leak anywhere from 10, some people all the way over there, before they even start driving their legs. And I see this all the time, all the time. All the girls on the tour, and there's many that I work with, and a handful of guys, almost everybody had the racket in too early. They had it in too early. You have to understand the concept. Now, when we put a ball in your hand and you guys throw the ball, everybody does it right, because you go like this, because your racket's not twice as long. So you have the ball, so the legs go before the hand. But when you have a racket, my arm's twice as long. Now the racket has a tendency to leak. That's why you see a lot of people serve look very different. Even though people are telling you, like generically, here's how to toss it, here's how to bend. everybody has different issues of what we need to correct with you. Everybody has different issues, what we need to correct with you. And that's the art of the deal, and that's what we do here better than anybody in the world. Okay, whatever the issue is, we know how to correct it because we have a whole toolbox of corrective techniques that can help each individual. So that's a big thing. But remember, once you get into this position, whether you're doing a continuous serve or you have a hesitation, the legs go before the racket. Leg drive initiates racket speed. Everybody got it? What's the word of the day?
Bang!
All right, let's get to work. Let's go. Happy birthday. That was for you. That was your birthday present. I did that just for you.